Hey, real dealers, this is Charles Blair, the mad scientist. And in this video, I'm going to break down one of the most misunderstood part of your real estate investing business or transaction engineering business. And that is the disposition process. I'm going to take you step by step from the point of getting the property under contract to the point of you getting that check in your mailbox or wired transferred to your bank account. That's what we're going to cover on this video today. But first, I need you to smash that like button. Don't forget to comment and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that I can keep bringing all this fantastic content to you on a weekly basis. Now, what is the disposition process? For a lot of investors, that's something that's clouds their minds. They're wondering, mad scientist, what do? I got it under contract. I went through what I think is the hard part is basically talking to the seller. I got all the information. I got the seller to say yes. Now what? Well, the first step in your disposition process revolves around, like I call, the matrix move. Let me show you exactly what I'm referring to. This, my friend, is what we call the disposition map and how you should go from the start of the process to the finish of the process, beginning with once you have that signed contract. Some investors will go ahead and take that contract to the title company. Remember, a contract in your drawer isn't worth anything unless you have it at the title company so that they can go ahead and begin escrow on this actual deal. Whenever you're starting the escrow, you want to make sure you know exactly who is the title agent that's handling this process. And you also want to make sure that you get a file number. That's extremely important because that file number is what you're going to reference to every time you call that title company to find out what's going on with that property, that agent and that file number. So the first step is to drop it off at the title company of your choice. Now we're talking about an investor-friendly title company. So what do I call an investor-friendly title company? A title company that is used to working with real estate investors, that are familiar with the type of transactions that we do, assignment contracts, short sale type of deals. We also do subject twos. We also do some rent to own and lease option deals. So I want a title company that's familiar with all those transaction engineering deals to handle my closing. Now, if you're only doing one type of closing, wholesaling, then of course you could just use your basic willy-nilly title company. That's fine. But for us transaction engineers, we expect a lot more from our title company. So let's go back. Step number one, drop that paperwork off the title company to get escrow. Now, step number two, you got to actually start to market your deal. And I have what I like to call the perfect investor flyer. If you guys leave a comment below, I'll give you an example of what that flyer looks like. It includes the actual pictures of the property. It includes contact information, a little brief description of your actual deal. It also includes some of the information about the comps in the area for your property. It has all of these different things on the actual flyer for your deals that you want to start marketing it. You have to start getting that phone ring from those buyers so you're able to get that deal closed as quickly as possible. So that's when step two comes into place, when you start marketing the actual deal. Now, step three. Once we begin to marketing the deal, it's a matter of how are we marketing the deal? Well, we market it by way of email. We market it by way of text messages. We market it by way of cold calling. We market it by way of all the different social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, shoot short videos. So we're actually pushing it out there all over the internet and all over outbound marketing, such as cold calling, to tell our buyers, we have a hot opportunity for you, and this opportunity will not last. So you better jump on it. So how we're marketing it, just like I mentioned before, we're bringing out all the different points about the property, and we want to make sure that for the first 7 to 14 days of having this property under contract, we are marketing the hell out of it. So what you should be doing prior to getting the property under contract is building your buyers list. If you're using tools such as PropStream, you can do that. If you're in different real estate investor groups, join the different Facebook groups and the different meetup groups and the different RIA groups and build your buyers list from those groups. Go to different auctions. If you're in a city or state where you're seeing auctions being taken place, go to the auctions. A lot of the buyers there are cash buyers. Get those those individuals on your actual buyers list. These are ways in which you could build that buyers list so that when you start marketing, you're going to make sure that you have these deals ready to go and being able to get under contract with a new buyer within 7 to 14 days. I always tell my mastermind students and my consulting clients that if a deal lasts longer than 14 days on the market, from you doing all the marketing that you're doing on that deal, now is a good time to start thinking about joint venturing. So along with your buyers, also make sure you have a strong wholesale joint venture list that you can send the deal to, because 9 out of 10 times a good deal won't last 14 days on the market if you're doing enough marketing. The reason why deals last because they're not being sold is because of price, location, or condition. So you really have to start thinking about, is the numbers that I got this deal under contract right good? Or is the location good enough to sell? Did I make a bad mistake on the actual estimate of repairs? And the repairs is actually so high that the individuals who are looking at my deals don't think this is a good deal. So now you have to start reevaluating that deal if you've been marketing it to a good buyer's list for over 14 days. Next step number 4, you have to simply put, once you have that buyer, now you want to assign the deal to that investor. You want to basically have your contract laid out. You want to make sure you have all the information when you've talk to the actual buyer. You want to let the buyer know they got to close with your title company. You got to let the buyer know they have an earnest money deposit they have to put down within 48 hours. You want to let the buyer know that this is the actual time frame on the paperwork. And you want to also make sure that that buyer has all the funds, proof of funds, and is a strong candidate for the deal to close. These are the things that you're doing when we get into step number 4 in your disposition process. Now, step number 5, you want to make sure all the seller documentations have been submitted. So you have your buyer in step number 4. You've dropped off that paperwork for the assignment contract along with the buyers dropping off their earnest money deposit, or you've dropped off the earnest money deposit for the buyer. And now you have to make sure all the people are in line with this process. You want to make sure that the title company already has the mortgage information, that the title company has already submitted information for a payoff if there is a mortgage. Now, remember, mortgage information is only needed if the property has a mortgage on it, and then you want to make sure the payoff is done as well. So these are the things that you have to understand. The deal does not stop once you get it under contract. It continues, and you have to have a process, and we call that process the disposition process until that deal goes to closing. So once you have identified that buyer, your next step is to make sure the closing happens smoothly and all the individuals have the documentation and stuff they need. Now we're going to step number 6. Step number 6 is you're contacting the title company, buyer and seller, to make sure all parties have been regularly updated. You should, in my opinion, keep in contact with all parties involved at least once a week. Make sure everybody knows an update of what's going on in this entire process. Because remember, you don't get paid unless all parties go through their obligation in the contract. And that's the reason why you want to make sure that everybody is on board with what's happening through this entire process. And that's why it is so, so important that you get this situation under control by maintaining control in this entire process. So remember, step number 6 is making sure that you and the title company and all parties are regularly updated. Step number 7, we're going to make sure that all the communication has been done, that all the liens and the actual title search is done. You want to actually make sure all of this has happened and getting ready for those magic words, clear to close. And those are the words that you want to have ready, ringing from your ears, because those words let you know, okay, now we can go ahead and schedule this process. So step number 7 is making sure everything gets to the clear to close stage. And last but not least, what we call your step number 8, and I call your payday. Once you have the clear to close, you coordinate with all parties involved. In other words, you make sure that you get the closing date from the actual title company. You notify the actual seller. You notify the actual buyer. Make sure that the wire transfer from the actual buyer has been sent over to the actual title company a day of or the day before closing. And then you make sure you give instructions to that title company in regards to the disposition, or should I say the distribution of your funds, how you want to receive them. You can either receive them by way of a check, or you can receive them by way of a wire transfer. So that, my friend, is what we call the closing disposition process. If you'd like to get a copy of my disposition process cheat sheet, leave a comment below and I'll make sure you guys get this actual disposition process cheat sheet delivered directly to you. Thank you very much for watching the video. This is Charles Blair, the Mad Scientist, signing out, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.